What's up, friends? Happy Friday. Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Alongside Dan Courtwright, I'm Sean Kellerman. Big one tomorrow for KU football as they head to West Texas to take on the number 9 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. We'll get into that here in the opening segment. Dan's got all sorts of specifics, stats, everything you need to know for this one. A really cool opportunity, and we'll get into this more, Dan. Before I run down the rest of the show, I just want to say, what a chance for Jalen Daniels to have kind of that moment, right?
Yeah.
For KU. I mean, obviously he's a top 5 quarterback of all time at KU, but this could be a statement victory if KU's able to get it done. So excited for JD.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, and we'll get farther into it as we break down Texas Tech, but as of right now, really the only place that Kansas is better than Texas Tech is KU through the air versus that Texas Tech secondary. So Jalen is primed to have an absolutely huge game, and that's the way Kansas is really going to win that game.
Can't wait for it. Going to be a fun one. 6:30 tomorrow. Coverage starts on Sports Radio 810 WHB with Crimson and Blue Show at 5 o'clock. So we'll break that down here in the opening segment. Next segment, some NFL game picks. A quick word last night, Dan. How about Cam Scatteraboo? Are you kidding me?
Unreal.
My
Jackson
goodness.
Dart, too.
My Eagles cover pick was almost as bad as your under pick in that one.
I picked the Giants to cover at least, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Man, the Giants look good. Well, okay. Let me rephrase this. The Eagles look bad.
Yeah, the Eagles look bad. The Giants do look good.
Giants
I'm
do
okay
look
with
good.
you saying that. But also, we talked about this with the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks yesterday. Jackson Dart, I think he's kind of that guy. You kind of know. We talked about how some of these young quarterbacks, whether it's Nix or Daniels or even Herbert, Mahomes going back, you kind of know in the first 3-4 games, all right, this is going to be a real guy, and I think
Right.
Dart's in that category. But Scatteraboo looking like a steal for the Giants as they really blow out the Eagles, who did the tush push 4 times in a row. I mean,
And they jumped off sides all 4 times.
that's
we can get into that
That's
more. I
awful.
have a thing on sports stock market, by the
Yeah.
By the way, sports stock market.
oh yeah, ding 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 ding
Ding ding ding ding
Or
ding
that's
ding
how it
ding
goes.
ding ding ding.
Before sports stock market, we have Matt Tait. Dan Courtwright had a chance to interview Matt Tait. He comes to us from R1S1 Sports. Matt has lived in Lawrence ever since he graduated from KU. He's covered KU sports for a long time. Yeah, Chesty Lion, great. And you guys had a great conversation that we're going to hear a little bit later.
Yeah, we did. It was me and Matt Tait. Sean was accidentally locked in the bathroom. I keep on telling him it's a pull, not a push.
I don't know how to.
He just can't. So I had a full sit down with Matt Tait from R1S1 Sports. Great conversation. First time on this show. We've been colleagues with Matt for quite a while. So a lot of in-depth stuff. Check out all this stuff at R1S1Sports.com.
Yeah, really glad we were able to get Matt on the show. Hopefully that's something we can do a little bit more often. Love his insights on all things KU. R1S1Sports.com, great coverage, and we want to support Matt as he supports us here at Kansas Nation, KansasNation.com. After Sports Stock Market, where we will take you around the world of sports. We're talking a little KU basketball late night a week from today. KU football gets some commits on socials as well, so we'll update you on that. And then we will end with Dan giving his college football game picks, but we got to sprinkle in our Hawk to Rock.
That's right.
It did not necessarily go perfect for us last week. My offensive guy was I chose the wrong Jalen's. That's what happened.
Of course,
I chose
yes.
Jalen Daniels and Jalen Todd when I should have just gone with Jalen Dye.
You should have.
But who did you have last week?
I think I had Le'Shawn Williams, which he did have.
You got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
that's
has 3
pretty
touchdowns. That's where you want to see it. I'm trying to think of who my defensive Hawk to Rock was last year. By the way, we need to keep track of this. Whoever has the better Hawks to Rock on the year throughout the rest of the year, we need to have a punishment maybe for whoever has the.
That's true. Although then you have to like break down, okay, what qualifies being better. Like, what if one guy had 7 tackles and one guy had 4 tackles but a sack and a half?
Right. Yeah.
That's
fair.
tricky. Anyway, but yeah, we want to make sure we sprinkle some last second KU Texas Tech preview before the end of the show today here on KansasNation.com. Let's get into our bulk segment, though. We love our Friday shows because we get to break down the upcoming game and what a game it's going to be. First thing that comes to mind is something I thought a little bit earlier. Like, man, if KU goes down and wins this game, which is not something that a lot of people outside the city limits of Lawrence expect, I think you got to rank us. KU will be 5-2 with a 3-1 conference record, and their only losses would be to a team who's in the top 15 right now
Yeah.
from Columbia, and then a team that is ranked essentially 26th in Cincinnati. And that would be a marquee top 10 win on the road. I think you got to rank KU. Does that really matter? No. Do we like seeing the number next to our name? Yes. So, so that's something to think about. But Texas Tech, obviously a wagon. They have been dominating pretty much everybody. They haven't played a close game yet. Bless Pine Bluff's heart, but Tech beat them 67-7. That was a game where they played 8-minute quarters in the second half because of weather.
Yeah, weather. Right.
After that was Kent State, who's the worst team in the MAC, 62-14. Tech got them 45-14 over Oregon State, who still is winless, by the way. So not exactly a tough non-con for the Red Raiders. And then at Utah, 34-10, and a little bit deception there, I would say, because that game was a one-score game throughout until Tech had 24, I think, hung on Utah in the fourth quarter. They end up winning by 24. And then at Houston, they went 35-11. So they're 5-0. Everything's impressive. Everybody loves them. They're a top 10 team. They're gonna blow the doors off Kansas, all that. If you do look, though, Dan, at the schedule from what I just said, you face nobody in the non-con. So there's 3-0. The Utah game was closer than it looks. And Houston is a team who is still rebuilding. Yeah, they were 4-0, but they're still rebuilding. You asked David Lawrence about this because I do it all the time during basketball season when we're on the network. I can talk myself into a win with the best of them. I mean, I can do absolutely whatever it takes to talk myself into a win.
I'll go one step further. I can talk myself into a cover.
Oh, always, always. Yeah, KU's 49-point favorites. No, but yeah. So 5-0. Again, I'm not going to discredit 2 road wins in the Big 12, right? Especially beating a Utah team who we know is probably top 25 caliber. But I do think that Kansas has a better chance in this one than a lot of people are giving them.
Yeah, I think so, right? I mean, look at it on the base level, right? Texas Tech, they have the #1 offense in the Big 12 and the #1 defense in the Big 12, right? You look at just the points alone. Tech, they're averaging 48.6 points per game. They're only giving up 11.2 points per game. Now, with what you said, a lot of that is kind of based on their non-con, right? Where you said they virtually played nobody. Now, I will not have any slander of the second place team in the Pac-12, right? Oregon State. They are the second place team in the Pac-12, also the last place team in the Pac-12. So unfortunate for them, obviously. And yeah, they played a good Utah team, and it was really close until the very, very end of the game, right? So they have played some competition, and I have some numbers to kind of go through right now, and I'll kind of go through everything in kind of steps, right? So I want to go through Texas Tech's defense first, because we keep on talking about that dominant front six that they have, headlined by Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker guy. He led the Big 12 in solo tackles last year. He's the #1 run defender on PFF, which is an absolute insane stat to me, right? This guy does not miss tackles. He is a monster in the run fits. He's really good. He's okay in coverage, right? But this is a guy who is projected preseason, all Big 12 caliber type of player. So Jacob Rodriguez is absolutely incredible. They have a ton of size and ton of athletes on that front line. They have the third best defense against the run in college football, all of FBS. They only give up 65.6 rushing yards per game. They've only allowed 204 rushing yards through their first 2 Big 12 games with Utah and Houston, which again, it's Houston. You don't expect much from them. Also, it's a little deceiving because of the fact that, yes, they don't give up a lot of runs, but there's 2 reasons why the rushing yards are not there. Number one is they get up early. So teams have to try to beat them through the air. So that's why it's a little deceptive, right? Where it's hard to run on Texas Tech, but also teams are throwing more, right? I believe they're 11th right now in the nation in terms of pass plays against them, because teams are playing so far from behind and they're trying to crawl their way back, and they're trying to hit those home run balls, and they're susceptible to those home run balls too. So that's something that you kind of have to look at, right? Kansas, they're not going to beat them with those home run runs like you saw with LeSean Williams with the 60 whatever plus yarder that he had against West Virginia. You're not going to see that.
And that's my concern. If I had to pick probably a biggest concern for Kansas in this one, I don't want to see Jalen Daniels out there on an island by himself, right? And I know you're going to have some keys to the game later. I don't want to give any spoiler alerts because you and I are kind of on the same level on what needs to happen offensively for Kansas. But KU needs to find a way, baseline to generate some sort of run game. You have
Yes.
to. And you know what? That might mean Cole Ballard, and that might mean Zeke Marshall. You know,
Right.
you might see that package a little bit more often if the halfback dive plays aren't working, if the option plays aren't working. But this can't be a game where it's JD against the world, okay? Yes, there's going to be plays that he's going to have to utilize his talents, utilize his legs, roll out the pocket, and I'm sure there's going to be some design plays where he's rolling out of the pocket as well. But I don't want him on an island. KU is going to have to do something in the run game to make sure that they're not completely one-dimensional.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jalen does a good job of extending those plays, right? But they're going to get a lot of pressure coming off of those edges, right? They have two really solid pass rushers. They have David Bailey. He leads the power 4 in pressures with 31. And then Romello Height, he's number 10 in power 4 with 20 pressures on the season. So they're going to get pressure on Jalen Daniels. But we have Jalen Daniels, and we have faith in him to be able to escape that and make those plays on the run. So really tough defensive line, and it's going to be hard to kind of hit those home run balls, but that's how Kansas is going to have to beat them through the air, is what I mean. You're not going to see the home runs from Le'Shawn Williams. You're not going to see the home runs on the ground. You're going to see them through the air, and you're going to try to see Jim Zebrowski scheme that up. And I like what you said about Isaiah Marshall and Cole Ballard on the ground as well, because it's kind of interesting, right? Kansas has 3 quarterbacks who all are really good on their feet, all in kind of different ways, right? Jalen, he's more of an extender, and then he'll run if he has to. Isaiah likes to run, bounce it on the outside, shifty kind of guy. And then Cole Ballard, I mean, you might as well put the number 44 on him and and have him with a cowboy collar, because he likes to put his head down and run through some people, which is great to see out of a quarterback, right? So it'll be interesting to see, because we have seen Isaiah Marshall and Cole Ballard get a couple of runs in the last 2 games. So I'm excited to see if they scheme that up, or even if they're going to try to run the ball a lot in terms of giving up the playbook. I'm just curious to see how Jim Zebrowski is going to kind of go around that. Now, their secondary, which what I was talking about earlier, they are susceptible to those home run balls. They have been hit on them before. Now, is it because of the pure quantity of pass plays that have been against them, and it kind of wears down their secondary, where guys are able to get over them and stack their guy and high point a ball because they're running so many pass plays? I don't know. Again, it's all very tricky. But I think if Kansas wants to win this game and stay in it on the offensive side of the ball, Jalen's going to have to go for at least over 250.
Well, KU's going to have to score more than 14 points, right? Which
Absolutely.
nobody has done.
Right.
Texas
Oh, that's
Tech.
true. Yeah.
10 for Utah and 11 for Houston. So that's going to be a problem. And I know you're going to talk about the other side of the field here very shortly, Dan, but I'm going to give away my key to the game, or I guess the first thing that comes to mind. In order to beat a team, no matter what sport you're playing, that's viewed as a big favorite, people think, hey, it's not going to happen. You got to have 1 or 2 game-breaking plays.
Yes.
And that doesn't always mean a takeaway. That would be great. But I'm not going to give away my Hawk to Rock. There has to be some sort of big play offensively, and or something big in the special teams for Kansas.
Yes.
Right?
Special teams
a punt
would be huge in
return
this game.
touchdown. Something like that usually has to happen if you're going to get a quote-unquote upset. But yeah, KU's going to have to score offensively. And we saw Jalen Daniels. We've seen him a couple times this year have to do it all himself, and I keep going back to that. But in Columbia, KU didn't have anything except Jalen Daniels. You're going to have some people help him out. That means catching the balls when JD throws it to you. That means giving him some semblance of protection. Easier said than done against this Texas Tech front. And it means whether it's Williams, whether it's Harry Stewart, whether it's Marshall or Ballard in those special packages, some semblance of a run game to help him out, at least keep the defense honest.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it's apparent that Kansas really needs to have those game-breaking plays. Now, that's a given with anything, right? I mean, you want to have those 93-yard touchdowns by Emmanuel Henderson every single game. That would be fantastic. But it's of the utmost importance right now, because you're not going to be able to matriculate the ball down the field. Now, granted, Kansas has a very good run of not being stuffed at the line of scrimmage. They're, I believe, in the 99th percentile in terms of not being stuffed, right? So they're at least getting 1, 2, 3, 4 yards on the run, but they haven't faced a defensive front of this caliber. So it's really going to have to come through the air. I will say this Kansas passing attack is going to be the hardest that Texas Tech has played all year, because you look at those non-con games. Oregon State, Kent State, who is it? Pine Bluff.
That's 3 throwaway games.
Three throwaway games who do not have near the amount of talent that Kansas does. So that's going to look good on the statistics in terms of keeping them off the scoreboard and also keeping them, covered in the secondary. Utah, they do not have a good pass attack. Kansas does. It's one of the best pass attacks in the nation. This just came out. Jalen Daniels has been the #1 play action passer in all of PFF, right? He's graded first, 95 PFF grade on play action passes, 80% completion rate on play action passes. So they're going to utilize that play action quite a bit. Right now, in terms of the way that it's schemed up, that's why it gets a little bit confusing, because if Kansas completely abandons the run, then that takes away the play action passes. Jalen is so good in those play action passes. So you want to keep the guys in the box, make them think that you're going to run it, have Jalen beat it over with your arm, right? I told you about those 2 pass rushers that they have, both of them in the top 10 in terms of pressures in all of Power 4. The offensive line has to come up huge in this game. Give Jalen just 1 or 2 extra seconds, because Jalen can make those plays. We know he can make those plays. If you give Jalen 1 or 2 extra seconds, just battle your ass off. Keep him there. Jalen's going to be able to make those plays, because our wide receivers are much better than their secondary, and I think you can hit those home run balls, those game-breaking plays that you were talking about.
Texas Tech has never faced Jalen Daniels in one of the stranger stats.
That's weird.
Never has seen him.
That's actually insane to me.
KU beat Texas Tech back in 2019. A lot of people probably remember the strange end of that one. Liam Jones ends up hitting the game winner, 37-34.
Yeah.
Well, you had the blocked kick. Yeah, it was crazy. Texas Tech is probably saying, hey, we've never seen him, but if you look at what Dampier did for Utah against Tech, it wasn't very impressive. So they're probably looking at that and saying, okay, Dampier against Tech in that game on the Salt Lake, he was 25 of 38, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He only threw for 162 yards, so that's just over 4 yards per completion. Also 11 carries, 27 yards. Granted, we would take Daniels over Dampier any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
But they're looking at that saying, okay, JD needs to be the best version of himself.
Yeah.
We don't want him to have to be Superman, but he's going to have to be the star quarterback that we know he is for KU to walk out of Lubbock with a win. Tell us a little bit about the other side of the field, Dan.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and flip the field here. I want to look at the Texas Tech offense versus the Kansas defense. Just a quick kind of skim through the Texas Tech offense. Looking at their offensive line, their tackles are their best offensive linemen. Both of their tackles are graded very high on PFF. The interior offensive line for Texas Tech, not that good, right? So you might see some pressure. This is going to be a big game, and Brian Haney was talking about this yesterday on our show about how this is going to be a huge game for our interior guys, the DJ Withers, the Tommy Dunns, the Blake Harolds, even the Marcus Calvins of the world. Those guys, if they're able to get past that interior offensive line and get some pressure, I think that's going to be absolutely huge for this game. With their running back situation, kind of an RBBC type of deal. Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams, similar numbers. Cameron Dickey has 330 on the year, I believe. Jacoby Williams has 308. So very similar numbers from the 2 running backs. Dickey, he's a more physical kind of runner. Jacoby is more utilized in the passing game. He has 15 receptions this year for, I believe, like 277. So he's sort of a multi-use kind of guy, Swiss Army knife kind of guy that you'll see, hit some swing routes, hit some bubble screens, those kind of things from Jacoby Williams. So that's going to be assignment football on those kind of guys. All of their top 8 wide receivers go over 12 yards per catch, which is absolutely insane, right? So they're able to hit those long shots as well. The Kansas defense is really going to have to stand up tall. They have a couple of wide receivers. Coy Eakin is their #1 wide receiver. He's leading wide receiver, but Caleb Douglas, he's #5 on their squad. He has been explosive as hell. 18.9 yards per catch. Unbelievable by him. Less receptions than Coy Eakin. Coy Eakin, he's the kind of guy who can find those soft spots in the zones, get 5, 6, 7 yards at a time. But Caleb Douglas is the deep threat. Caleb Douglas is the deep threat that you do not want to see stack his man and get down the field. So this is going to be a big game for the secondary.
Keys to the game, there's some on both sides. We're always going to talk about special teams. We're going to talk about takeaways. Takeaway, in a game like this could completely change it, right? That's one of the game-breaking plays I'm talking about, but something in special teams to spearhead this. Make Texas Tech doubt themselves would be another thing I would say real quick before you get to your keys. Tech hasn't really been threatened, right? It was kind of close with Utah. Otherwise, it's been all Red Raiders through 5 games this season. If Kansas can start hot, that's always going to be something that we're going to like. We're going to know that it's a game of ups and downs, right? There's going to be times where Texas Tech gets their plays. Their players are getting paid too. In fact, their players are getting paid a lot, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about that. So
how do you know that?
They're going to make
Is
some
there a
plays.
report on that?
They're going to make some plays. Kansas has to stick with them, make the Red Raiders doubt themselves. But there's got to be some sort of big play, whether it's a takeaway, something in the special teams for KU to walk out of there with a win.
Yeah, I mean, an easy key to the game would just be like, hey, run the touchdown play every single time. But it's it's obviously a little bit more complicated than that. But to your point, you need, like, it sounds so stupid, but you need those game-breaking plays. You need the home run balls. I do have a couple keys to the game. On the defensive side of the ball, I talked about it a little bit. The defensive tackles, this needs to be their biggest game of the year. You need to have Keenan Caldwell, DJ Withers, Tommy Dunn, all of those guys getting pressure. Their interior offensive line is not as good as the tackles. The tackles are really where you're going to see the biggest advantage on that Texas Tech offensive line. So we might not see a lot of Justice Finkley and Dean Miller getting into that backfield. You're going to have to see the defensive tackles applying pressure to Baron Morton, make him uncomfortable. That's my key to the game virtually every week, is make the quarterback uncomfortable. It's especially important on this one because Baron Morton, he's a kind of dual threat guy where he can do it with his arm, but he can also do it on his legs as well. Reminds me of a much better Nico Markiel in that kind of sense, right? So that's the biggest key to the game. The defensive tackles absolutely need to have the game of their life. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I want this to be the most creative game in Jim Zebrowski's career, right? Through the air is what I'm saying, right? Any weird stuff, any wrinkles that you have to be able to do it because, to your point, you need those game-breaking plays. If you can hit those game-breaking plays, open up the playbook. Go all the way to the back. Find the weird stuff you forgot you even put in there. Find anything you can. Be creative with the play calling. You have to beat them through the air because, like I said before, this Kansas passing attack is going to be the best passing attack Texas Tech will see all year. I don't think they're ready for it. I think that they're kind of laughing at Kansas coming into Lubbock and saying, oh, yeah, well, we got Kansas. Who cares? Who's next, right? I think they're kind of looking past this. I don't think they understand how threatening this Kansas wide receiver core is and Jalen Daniels with his arm is because they've never seen Jalen Daniels. Texas Tech, throughout Jalen Daniels' entire career, which has been 50 years here at Kansas, was what it feels like. They've never seen him. So I don't think they know what to expect from this. So I want to see not only Jalen play at his highest level and the wide receivers, I want to see Jim Zebrowski scheme up some very good things because this Kansas passing attack is much better than the secondary. I want to see Emmanuel Henderson have some big catches. Cam Pickett, fully healthy. Want to see him have some big catches. Bowden Gruen over that middle on that seam. I want to see him continue to take that step forward, especially after Deshaun Hanukkah has been out for the season. Bowden Gruen's the guy now. He is going to be your workhorse on that tight end spot. So I want to see Bowden Gruen get some catches as well. Creativity is the key for Jim Zebrowski to beat this Texas Tech defense.
KU Texas Tech tomorrow at 6:30. Pre-game coverage, the Crimson and Blue Show starts at 5 o'clock. Can't wait for it. After this, going to do some NFL game picks, update you as well with some other things going on at KU. Thanks for watching Rock Chalk Sports on KansasNation.com.
This is Daniel Highshaw, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Going to get to our NFL game picks, but first update you, of course, on the KU Texas Tech watch party going on at the booth. I'm going to tell you about KU soccer. They are headed to Ames. In fact, probably there already as they're taking on Iowa State, 6 o'clock today. KU has a very solid record this season, 8-3-2. They're just 2-3-0, however, in Big 12 play. They've faced a tough schedule thus far. Iowa State just 4-5-2, 1-4-0 in Big 12. They just lost to number 7 TCU 3-1 last week. After this, KU will be back home on Thursday to take on West Virginia. But 6 o'clock tonight, KU at Iowa State. Good chance for a road opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kansas, they're going to be wrapping up their 2-game road trip today against Iowa State. It's going to be at 6 o'clock tonight. You can watch it on ESPN Plus. KU right now, they're 8-3-2. They're 2-3 in Big 12 play, but a really good opportunity here for them to kind of get back on track. They had a weird stretch there where, lost a couple of games. Some different things happened on the defensive side for the Kansas soccer team, but they have a really solid opportunity to get back on track here. Caroline Castans, she was named to the 2025 Herman Trophy midseason watch list on Tuesday. The Herman Trophy is the nation's highest individual honor, recognizing the National Player of the Year. So Caroline Castans, we obviously knew she was going to be excellent coming in, and she has almost exceeded those expectations, which is insane because we knew she was going to be our number one player.
Becca Smith for KU Soccer named the Big 12 Freshman of the Week, the 25th Jayhawk to ever get that honor. KU, of course, knocked off K-State 4-1 in the Dillon Sunflower Showdown last time out. Football game, like I said, it's in Lubbock, but if you want to go over to the booth, you are welcome to do that. Away game experience, KU Texas Tech. Again, kickoff is at 6:30 tomorrow. Doors are going to open at the booth at 5:30. You can enter at the Conference Center main entrance, Gate 5. Parking is free and available in the surface slots around the stadium. So cheer on the Hawks. You can enjoy the game on a massive 22-foot by 12-foot video wall inside the 1921 Field Club. Concessions specials will be available for purchase all night long. So if you can't get out to West Texas, a really cool opportunity there to support our Jayhawks while you are here in Lawrence. NFL game picks, Dan.
Yes.
Appetizer starts over in London. You excited for that? I know.
It's more breakfast.
I'm not going to lie.
Anything.
You might be right about that. But when you said that it's probably more of a breakfast than an appetizer.
What is breakfast other than a lunch appetizer?
Here's the thing. Before you get all mean about this, you kind of ruined my day.
I'm sorry.
Because it probably is more of a breakfast.
Yeah.
But you ruined my day.
I'm
because
sorry.
I talk about how much I
that.
love that appetizer.
You do.
And
maybe you just love breakfast.
I'm not in a place emotionally where I can continue this conversation.
That's fair. I understand that. We'll go ahead and start with you know what? I'll throw you a bone. We'll start off with the appetizer, if you will, for Broncos.
You're just patronizing me. Whatever.
Broncos Jets. They're going to be heading over to London. I was talking about this with you off air. It feels like there's more London games than there ever has
Bring
been.
them on, man.
It's like every single week there's a London game, which I love, by the way. I think it's great. But the Broncos taking on the Jets. Broncos right now, they're laying 7.5, but the public likes the Jets to cover here. They're at -115 at +7.5. Broncos are at -105 +7.5. Over-unders 43.5. I like to err on the side of the unders for those London games just because of the jet lag. Now, I know they've been over in London for a while to be able to get acclimated and different kind of things, but different playing surface, not playing in front of any home crowds. It's a true neutral site. So I like the under in this game at under 43.5. The public does not like that. Give me the Broncos at -7.5. Broncos are really good.
I think that's too many points. I'm a Justin Fields guy. I'm going back to the Jets here, man. If it was 6.5, I would probably have some more hesitations, but I like the 7.5.
That's crazy.
I'll take
he makes fun of me for still being a Trevor Lawrence guy. He's still a Justin Fields guy.
is better than Trevor Lawrence.
Justin Fields has been on 4 different teams in the last 2 years.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, he's top 10 quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence has been.
Kidding.
Trevor Lawrence is the guy in Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence is not good.
Trevor Lawrence should be the Chiefs.
He's not good. Jets +7.5. I'll take. Colts hosting the Redbirds. Colts are -7. Over under 47.5. Way too much respect on Indianapolis.
I think so. I think they're still on fraud watch for me. Even though they've looked good.
It's gonna be week 12. You're still going to be saying that.
I will. Absolutely, I will. Look, the Steelers, there's a couple years ago. I think it was maybe like 3, 4, 5 years ago where the Steelers were like
6.
Could have been 6. The Steelers were like 11-0 or 11-1 in week 13 or something, and they were awful.
The rest of the way,
they were like a weird. It was like everyone was like, "Yeah, you won 11 games through 13 weeks. You guys are terrible."
Mike Tomlin is the only coach who would find a way to go from 11-1 to 9-8.
I know, it's great.
I mean, somehow he finished that season 9-8. I don't know why.
Right, exactly. Colts still on fraud watch to me. I like the Cardinals not only to win here, Not only to cover here, but I like him to win
I like
too.
the
I'm
money
going to
line
go
also.
ahead. I'm going to go ahead 260.
I do.
I kind of like
as long
that.
as Amari DiMercado isn't touching that football.
True. Yeah, don't give Amari DiMercado that football. Now again, they still have some running back issues, but I like the Cardinals in this game. I think it all comes falling apart for the Colts. Give me the under in this game as well. 47.5 is too much. That's at -118 right now, so I'm with the public.
+7 here for Arizona may end up being my favorite line of the week. So we'll see how that goes. Cowboys at Panthers. Panthers homestanding dogs are +3. Over under 49.5. Does your boy Bryce Young get it done?
You mean starting point guard Bryce Young? No, he does not. I don't think he gets it done. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game by more than 3 points. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a high-scoring game, though. I don't like either one of their defenses. I think both offenses can put up some points. Over-under is 49.5. I think this goes over 55.5.
That is a high number, which means going with the over 49.5. Usually somebody knows something. The Ravens at home are +7 as they host the Rams. Baltimore 1-4. Over-under is 44.5.
Their defense, Lamar Jackson being out aside, their defense is awful. They are so bad. And we saw it in the Chiefs game. We saw it last week. They got absolutely killed, right? So I like the Rams. I mean, even though it's such a big line, -7, especially with a team as high of caliber as the Ravens, at least preseason, I believe Lamar Jackson's still going to be out. It's going to be Cooper Rush once again. Matt Stafford still got it. Give me the Rams -7 and -120.
I made a huge mistake last week of thinking the Ravens were going to be able to win as home dogs against the Texans. They just got trucked.
Killed.
I'm not going back to Baltimore. Ravens -7 in this one for me as well. Chargers.
You mean Rams -7?
Yes, sorry. Rams -7 on the road. Chargers at Dolphins. Dolphins are +4.5 at home. Over under 44.5. They're in this really soft spot of their schedule. Yes, the Chargers are good right now, but they are at home, and they just had 2 games against terrible teams, and I think their next 3 weeks are against bad teams.
Yeah.
A chance to build some momentum for Mike McDaniel. Man, he is a character. Anyway, they're +4.5. Over-under is 44.5.
I think that they're going to try to take advantage of that. And like you said, the Chargers are a good football team. I believe in Justin Herbert. I think the Dolphins cover here at +4.5. Now, I think it's going to be close. It could come down to a field goal. Chargers could still win. I like 4.5 with the Dolphins. +4.5. That's at -112. Public likes it too. I like the under in this game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Give me under 44.5.
Going back what I said, Dolphins' next 3 games after this are the Browns, the Falcons, and then they're home against the Ravens, who who knows at that point for Baltimore. I don't know on that one. I'm erring on the side of Chargers -4.5, but probably an avoid. Browns at Steelers, classic AFC North battle. Browns are +5.5, over under 37.5.
Kenny Pickett revenge game, even though he's not on either one of those teams anymore. Also, Joe Flacco revenge. No, Joe Flacco hasn't played for the Steelers yet.
Sorry about that.
It'll be soon. Joe Flacco will eventually make his way to the Steelers. He'll make the whole rounds for the AFC North. I like the Browns in this game. Is that weird? I like them. You know what? This is going to be crazy. I like a money line. I think Dylan Gabriel's got it.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't. Again, we'll see. Give him 3 or 4, and maybe he's one of those guys. I think he's too short. I don't think he's got it.
I still do not believe in Aaron Rodgers. I know he's in a decent year this year. I think that age is catching up with him, and he's not going to be able to finish out the season. I think it starts with this game. Give me the Browns money line +220.
I like the Steelers off a bye is the thing. They had an extra week. True. They're going to be healthier. Give me Steelers -5.5. Patriots at Saints. Patriots emotional win, of course, in Western New York against the Bills. Do they have a letdown? They're -3.5 in the Bayou. Over under is 46.5.
Saints will not be wearing pants nor socks in this game. Did you see this?
Oh my God!
So I have it in stock market. We'll get to it in sports stock market. What's my motto, Sean?
I don't know. You've lost fading the Saints, though. I'll tell you that much.
I have. You're absolutely right about that.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. They're riding that high, man.
So
they're riding that high. They just beat the Buffalo Bills. I like the Patriots fading the Saints still once again. -3.5.
That
Patriots.
feels like a trap to me. Give me the Saints +3.5. I got no idea why, but it feels like a trap. Seahawks at Jags, the final noon game on Sunday. Seahawks are +1.5 on the road. Speaking of emotional wins, the Jags just had one at home against the Chiefs. Over-under is 47.5. You like the Jags as small favorites?
I do like the Jags as small favorites. Now, Remind me. Jags are at -1.5. So I push it and I go ahead and take the money line, which
Yes.
is at -110.
Exactly.
Give me Jags money line -110.
In fact, both of them are at -110.
But that's the thing. I just think the Jags are going to win by more than two points.
But what if they win by exactly 1? Then you lose.
They're not going to win by exactly 1. They're going to win by like
It happened earlier this
5.
year, 49ers Cardinals.
I am aware
But
of this.
what if they win by 1? Then
Jags,
you'll be mad that you.
Jags cover.
Okay, minus. God, I would give anything for that to be a 1-point Jaguar win.
By the way, over. I want the over in this game. 47
Raiders hosting the Titans. Nobody's going to be watching that one except, I guess, Cam Ward's family. -4.5 for the Raiders. Over/under is 41.5.
That was mean of you.
Just saying.
This is going to be a horrible game. I am.
That's
not
the thing is,
I hate
like,
that it's
Titans fans aren't traveling. Other fan
Yeah.
bases will travel to Vegas.
right. Geno
but-
Smith has been awful. So
Yeah, he
I
has
think
been.
so. Geno Smith has been the worst
Former Big
quarterback.
12 legend.
Yes, he's been the worst quarterback I think in the NFL this year. Give me the Titans. I think Titans money line
I think
plus 180. I think they win it.
I think Titans plus 4.5. I'm not messing around with the money lines like you've been doing. Titans plus
This has been the most
4.5.
money lines I think I've
When
taken.
there are two bad teams, I usually like the underdog just because it seems like a coin flip. Two bad teams. I don't know. So the 4.5 seems
Cam
like
Ward
too high of a
figures it
number.
out.
Seems like this should be like a 2.5, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Give me the 4.5 with Tennessee. Bengals, love watching them these days. At Packers, 325 on Sunday. Packers are -14.5. Over under 44.5.
Do we see Joe Flacco in this game?
I doubt it. Too
you don't
early.
think so?
Too early.
But we saw Baker Mayfield on 2 days' notice with the Rams.
That's
he
true.
led him
Yeah,
to
but
a
Baker's
win.
built different.
Baker is built different. But Joe Flacco's elite. Was elite. Packers. Give me the 14.5 is such a big line, though, and I don't want to take that.
Hey, close your eyes.
All right.
Imagine a scenario.
Sure.
The Packers win this game 34-10. Is that possible?
I think it is possible. And you know what that means?
That they win by at
That
least
they win
15.
by at least 15. All right.
You're going with it?
I hate it. I
know.
hate it.
It is. You know me, man. I'm afraid of the big lines when it's NFL teams. But God, the Bengals can't stop anybody. They finally scored against the Lions late, but horrible. All right, you're taking the Packers officially.
Yeah.
Niners at Bucks. Bucks are -3 at home. Over under 47.5.
I love the Buccaneers here. I love the Buccaneers in general. By the way, every single week, prop bet Emeka Egbuka anytime touchdown.
He did it again last week.
He did. I told you. I know.
did it
He's
again.
insane. What are his odds at right now? Emeka Egbuka plus 100.
It was plus like 165.
Doubling
or something
my
last
money.
Week. I'll take the
doubling my
minus.
money
I'll
there.
take the -3 with the Bucks as well.
Easy.
All right, Sunday night, a game we haven't talked about yet, Dan, but a big one. The Chiefs all of a sudden are 2.5-point favorites. Sunday Night Football at home against the Big Cats. Over under is the highest of the week at 52.5.
I'm not going to hit the panic button.
You think Chiefs get it done?
I think the Chiefs get it done. It's at home, right? Big Cats are good. I think this is going to be a defensive chess match. I'm going to hit the under 52.5. I think there's not going to be a lot of scoring done in this game.
Also like the under, but that's just not fun.
No, I know. It's the highest line of the
also like
week,
that.
so you want to go with the over. I understand that.
Spags and the Chiefs defense answer the bell here.
Yeah.
I do.
Take the under. Go for it.
I do think the under 52.5 will hit. In terms of the line, man, I don't know.
See, here's the thing. We're both Chiefs fans. We both don't want to say that the Lions are going to cover.
If it weren't the Chiefs in this scenario, if the Chiefs were wearing, a different color, same guys, I think I'd take the Lions plus 2.5. I mean, you're getting points with the Lions, so I'm going to go ahead and avoid that.
Yeah,
Cop out.
All right, I'll give it, and I will say this, and hopefully I'm right. Chiefs cover.
All right, there we go. There we go. Sunday Night Football at 7:20. Perhaps if we have time a little bit later in the show, we'll break that down further. After this, though, Dan Courtwright has a exclusive one-on-one conversation a little bit earlier today via Zoom with Matt Tait, R1S1 Sports. Wave the wheat. You're not going to want to miss that. It's coming up next on KansasNation.com.
Hey, this is Cole Ballard, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Welcome back into Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Thanks for tuning in here. We're in the 4 o'clock hour, and right now we're joined by a special guest. First time on this show, but a longtime friend of ours, been colleagues for a while. It's Matt Tait from R1S1 Sports. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I want to talk all things KU football, all things KU basketball with you. Check out all the stuff on R1S1Sports.com. Matt, let's start off here. Put a bow on last week. Obviously, tomorrow, big game against Texas Tech. But I wanted to talk about the UCF game because for me, that feels like such a pivotal game for this Jayhawks squad, right? Where if you lose that game, all of a sudden you're kind of looking at the rest of the season like, man, you kind of have to win out, or hey, this season could potentially be over, which now you're looking at it. You like what you saw out of the defense from the UCF game. Now you're looking at this Texas Tech game saying, man, this is a great opportunity for Kansas to win this game and potentially get their name back into the Big 12 championship picture.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you're in it until you're out of it. This conference is so crazy, and injuries pop up left and right. I saw Arizona State's probably going to be without their quarterback this week. So, things can happen. I think you want to stay in it as long as you can, just because you never know. And I do think you're right. I mean, I think KU's absolutely in it. That was a massive, massive win. You couldn't have said it better. I mean, that had the potential to flip it one way or the other. You lose that game, especially another one-score game, and on the road, and you start to think, man, what's going on? What are we, right? And instead, they found a way to win, which kind of quieted some of the critics on the one-score thing. And on top of it, they did it with their defense, which looked like, it had no chance of factoring into that game when the first half unfolded. So I think getting that goal line stand and then going back out and getting another stop was phenomenal. I mean, I think so much of this Kansas team, we talked in the preseason a little bit about the idea of thinking this team might have to outscore people, and win games 38-31 or 38-35 or whatever. And we've kind of seen that a little bit. But that was a really impressive performance right there. I mean, to pitch a shutout in the second half, to completely flip it too. I mean, they didn't play well in the first half at all. Bengali Kamara had a lot to do with that. Him being back in the second half was huge. But I got a chance this week to talk to a couple of guys about that goal line stand, and that's the story I have up on the site right now. It's really, really fun to talk about that, man, and just kind of get into the huddle, get into their minds. Austin Alexander, if you go watch it again, you'll see he got picked on there in the fourth quarter. I mean, he gave up the 3rd and 18 conversion. He got the face mask flag that set him inside the 10. He made the big play on the last drive to knock the ball away in the end zone, but he got picked on, but he stuck his nose right in there. I mean, this is a cornerback, a young cornerback, and if you go watch it, he gets rocked by Miles Montgomery on that 4th down play. He gets absolutely rocked, and he didn't go away. And Trey Lathan made the stop. I mean, he was there to keep the quarterback out. But if you look, Austin Alexander's right in there, and he sticks his nose in there. Jalen Dye's right in there too. I mean, it's one of those team win type of things, right? And that goal line stand, that's going to be talked about and remembered by those guys and maybe by KU fans for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at that goal line stand, not even just in the Leipold era or the last, year and a half or whatever with all the defensive struggles, but like even the last 15 years, I don't think I've seen a goal line stand like that from a KU squad. So kind of shows a testament in terms of how much they've grown as a team and as a defense, at least over the last couple of years, just because of the fact that was the big issue, right? Just closing out games in the second and the fourth quarters of games. And you brought up Bengali Kamara, and I don't want to pin this on one guy saying that he was the pivotal person to come in because it's obviously a team sport, but at the same time, Bengali Kamara comes in and they completely shut down the run game. Miles Montgomery had almost 100 yards, if not right at 100 yards in the first half. And then all of a sudden they have net -1 yards in the third quarter and they shut him completely down. How big of a impact did Bengali Kamara have on that game coming in?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, he's physical, right? And he flies around and so he's going to be in on plays. He's going to make tackles. But I think more important than that, those guys feel better when he's out there, right? There's a confidence that the rest of that defense kind of carries with it when they have their guy out there. And again, like you said, he's not the lone wolf on that defense. There's a lot of talented players on that side and guys who have shown up all year. But he's a big one, and when he's out there, they know that they're at full strength. They know that they're their best version of themselves. They know that he can make plays that other people can't make, and I think that confidence really skyrockets when he's out there, and you see it. Other guys are following the way he plays. Other guys are doing their job. I mean, that's a big part of it, right? You put second, third string guys in, and sometimes those first string guys who are still out there tend to, well, I got to make up here, or I got to make up there, or I got to lean this way to cover that guy, or whatever. That they know they don't have to do that with Bengali, and he's not flawless, he's not perfect, but he is a really good football player, and pretty much every game he's played in, every half he's played in, he's made a huge impact, and you've seen his number, and you've called his name, and he's out there. So huge part of that second half, but. Credit goes to all of them, like you said. I mean, that was a total role reversal. I mean, they flipped the script entirely, and they just, according to DK McDonald, they just started executing. I mean, it wasn't like they changed what they did at halftime. They didn't overhaul the whole thing. They just really locked in and decided, all right, we're gonna be disciplined in our gaps. We're gonna get tackles. We're gonna bring guys down. We're going to, not cheat here or cheat there. I mean, it was really impressive to see, and now they obviously have to do it against a top 10 team if they want to survive this week. But you'd rather have the first half go the way it went, and then the second half go the way it went, and kind of be riding that wave of confidence going into Texas Tech, because these guys are absolutely going to go down to Lubbock and believe they can win that game, and a lot of that is their defense. They believe their defense can play with anybody.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the Texas Tech game. Obviously, a top 10 team going down to Lubbock. It's going to be a hostile environment, their homecoming, blackout, everything like that. And, man, the story of it isn't even all those things. It's their defensive front. I mean, this is an SEC caliber, a high-level SEC caliber defensive front that they have. And, yeah, they have the resources to pay these guys, and they're not quiet about it. But tell me, what are your expectations for the offense going in, understanding that, hey, they have a really solid defense. I believe they're the number one team in the nation against the run. What are your expectations of the offense from Kansas in this game?
Yeah, you're right about their front and their resources and their talent. I mean, I look at this a lot like I looked at the Missouri game, man. I mean, I think that KU's got to find a way to get one or get two or scheme something that Texas Tech doesn't see coming. And we're not talking necessarily trick plays, but maybe, right? But either way, it's got to get creative. It's got to make those guys pause just this much, right? And because if you let them just loose, that defense is too good. They'll give anybody fits. But if they pause just this much, and KU's got it in their arsenal. I mean, we've seen it. They've got weapons. They've got misdirection. They've got pre-snap motion stuff. I mean, they've got all sorts of different alignments, and Jim Zabrowski's capable of throwing the kitchen sink at him, really. So I think that this is one of those games that might call for that, right? It's not going to be just line up and our guys against their guys and see what happens, right? I think you have to get creative, and lucky for Kansas, they have, one of the most creative and dynamic playmakers calling the whole thing in Jalen Daniels. So I think he has to play incredibly well. I think his legs have to be a factor. They have been all year. But you're right. I mean, if you're just trying to run Le'Shawn Williams or Harry Stewart or whoever into that front, you're probably going to struggle. I mean, again, you go back to Missouri and what they did to Daniel Highshaw and to Le'Shawn, and that they made KU's run game non-existent in that game. And so I'd like to see Jalen run the ball a little bit more. At the same time, you don't want to see him run too much and take a bunch of hits. That's where the Isaiah Marshall stuff comes in. That's where the Cole Ballard stuff comes in. Would not surprise me at all if either Isaiah or Cole, carries it maybe 5-6 times in this game, as opposed to the one or two that we've seen, just because they've got to find a way to give themselves an edge offensively without putting Jalen Daniels at risk and without doing what they put on tape. So I think it has the potential to be a lot of fun. I think the first quarter is as important as any of them. I mean, you can say all four quarters are equally important, right? But there's ways that third quarter is more important, or the fourth quarter is more important. And in this game, I think it might be the first quarter. You've got to show up just like they did against Mizzou, man. They took some shots. Missouri marched down the field. got the lead, but Kansas found a way to hang in there. And next thing you knew, they were up 2 scores, and that made that game very, very different. So if KU could start fast like that, however it comes, it doesn't have to be, fumble return for a touchdown or anything like that. It just has to be points, and it has to have, good juice out of the gate. If they can do that, I think they can definitely be in this game. One thing I wonder about, and we talked a little bit with them about this week, is, we saw them not start well at UCF, right? And I wondered how much of that, it was 7:30 kickoff in Orlando, sitting around all day waiting to play. I know these guys wake up and want to play at 8:30. It sucks waiting. And so they're going to have to do that again this week. It won't be 7:30, it'll be 6:30 because of the Central Time Zone. But I do think that having the experience of having just done that may help negate that a little bit. They may not be quite as worried about, God, this sucks waiting all day. They've done it. They know what that feels like. So now maybe they make a little adjustment here or there. Maybe they sleep in till noon instead of, getting up earlier or whatever. I know I will. But, the idea of just a fast start's so important in a game like this, against a team like this, in an environment like that. It's going to be wild. And it's a monster task. I don't know that anybody's going to walk in there and expect a whole lot from Kansas, which also could play in Kansas's favor. I mean, you go down and lose at number 9. Nobody's going to call you out for that. That's not embarrassing, right? So really, you're playing with house money a little bit. You got nothing to lose, and maybe that contributes to the way they go down and start and play. It can be fun. It can be a really, really fun game, and the longer they're in it, the more pressure shifts to the home team. There's no question about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Tait, R1S1 Sports, joins the show. I like what you said about Isaiah Marshall and Cole Ballard coming in, because you always ask Coach Z at the end of the Tuesdays. I think you asked him this week about, like, hey, are we going to see all 3 of them in? And he said, well, you'll have to see. So yeah,
I would love it.
I would love it too, because all of them, they're really good on their legs, but kind of in different ways, right? And man, I wanted to flip the field for you, because I wanted to look at the Texas Tech offense and this Kansas defense, who's obviously riding a wave of momentum coming off that UCF win. Barry Morton, a really good quarterback. They have a lot of really good skill pieces beside them. What are you seeing out of Texas Tech's offense?
Yeah, I think the receivers are really good, and there's length there. There's they're tall. I think that they have they have guys that can hurt you in every way and everywhere. And so, again, it sounds, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, right? 25 some years, right? And every football game I've covered, you kind of ask the coach, I don't care if this is high school or the highest level of KU or whatever. You kind of ask the coach, oh, what are the keys this week? Well, we got to stop the run and we got to take care of the football. And that's every game, every week, everywhere, right? Every coach will tell you that. And so I've kind of rolled my eyes over the years at how that sounds so similar and cliche, and it kind of gets old hearing that, but it's true, right? Like, they're all saying that because that's so critical. So I think, if they can find a way to create confusion for Texas Tech, maybe not confusion in necessarily disguising coverages and things they do in the back end like that, but more just the sense of Tech wants to be a little bit balanced, and if KU stops the run, they can't be now. And if they can't be, maybe that helps Dean Miller. Maybe that helps Justice Finkley. Maybe that helps Leroy Harris and Dak Brinkley, and those guys can, tee off a little bit more in obvious passing situations and try to get some pressure on the quarterback. One way or the other, they're going to have to get some pressure, because if Texas Tech just gets to sit back and do what they want to do, it'll be a long day one way or the other. There's no question about it. So I'll be really interested to see. We did see against UCF in some really, really key moments, DK McDonald tried to heat up the quarterbacks, and he hadn't been doing that. And so I thought that was a really, really important sign that, number one, KU's adjusting. Number two, he gets it. And number three, man, if you're going to go down swinging, right? Like, if the quarterback's just going to sit that back there and pick you apart with these soft coverages and he gets to view the field and throw wherever he wants to throw, you're going to get beat. If you put some pressure on him, he may make the play, but at least you forced him to make the play that way, right? And so I thought that was really, really key, especially there in the fourth quarter against UCF. We saw KU try to bring pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, Matt Tait, R1S1 Sports, KU Texas Tech kicking off at 6:30 tomorrow night. Matt, wanted to talk a little bit of basketball with you. I know you're not a big recruiting guy, so I want to talk about late night, right? Because late night's coming up next week, and late night's always interesting because it's sort of the first unofficial kickoff or tip-off, if you will, of basketball season, but also not very reminiscent in terms of like years past of an actual basketball game. So whenever you look at late night, what are you looking at specifically to try to pull out? Like, what can you pull out of late night? Because they do all the fun stuff and it's more of an event than an actual basketball scrimmage. But, you know, there is a little bit of basketball being played. How do you kind of analyze what's going on out there on the court?
Yeah, you can't pull much. You're dead right about that. And Bill Self will be the first one to tell you. I can't tell you how many times we've sat in there needing to write a story about the actual basketball scrimmage of late night and ask him real questions and you know, ask him things about certain things guys did or whatever, and he just rolls his eyes like, what? There was no defense, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
he handles it fine and he answers because he always gives a good answer. But it is really hard to make too many conclusions about it. And as that being the case, over the years, man, I've sort of adjusted completely to my approach, which is what you're asking about. I think I just look at each individual guy and try to see what stands out to me. I mean, in this era, especially when you're talking about guys who we haven't seen, they haven't been at KU. You know, maybe you've seen some film, maybe you watched them play at their previous school, but even that, it's different than seeing it in person. And so I think that's more important than ever. I usually try to just jot down 4 or 5 little notes about, hey, this guy did that. He's bouncy, or great change of direction, or looks great in the open court, or, you know, fights over screens, or it looks like defense matters to him, or, you know, on and on and on and on the possibilities, right? And I try to jot those things down about each player, and or at least the top 9 guys, right? And then usually put something out the day after, or maybe even the week after, about just kind of, here's my first glimpse at what these guys look like and what stood out to me. And a lot of times it's things you already know, right? Like, yeah. I can guarantee you that when I write my blurb about Darren Peterson, it's going to have something about his quick first step, because he has a quick first step. It's not rocket science. I'm not going to pretend that, you know, I see something that maybe no one else sees. I'm not that good, or else I'd be a coach probably, right? So, you know, some of those things we already know, but it's still worth kind of putting into one little box that says this is sort of a quick scout, a quick look at what each guy brings to the table. And then you can kind of figure out how it fits together, and where guys might rank, and who might play better with who, and things like that. But yeah, it's such a short scrimmage, and it's such a loose scrimmage. I will say, though, the last couple of years, I think Self would probably disagree with me completely. But the last couple of years, I thought it's been more competitive than it used to be. I think, and part of that's the guys are new, so they're still trying to make a name for themselves and sort of show, hey, I'm him, I'm here, watch me. Yeah. And on top of that, there's just so much talent lately. I mean, there've been, you know, second fives that believe they're as good as the first 5, and they want to show it. And these guys are so competitive now. They've always been competitive, don't get me wrong, but there's a sort of earn your keep competitiveness that you know, everybody's got to show, like, I belong. I need minutes. Look at this, right? And they don't want to lose. I don't care who's on what squad, crimson, blue, whatever. These guys don't want to lose, because even if it's only for one day, they're going to have to hear about it from the other side. Yeah. Because that's the one thing that hasn't changed. These guys will run their mouths and hold it over whoever, talking trash, clowning them. You know, I got you in the scrimmage, and they can't do anything about it until they scrimmage again. So that in and of itself makes the competitive nature of the game. It jocks it up a little bit, but you know, it's still, yeah, you're right. It's hard to take too much from it. But I do think I do think that you can see plenty of value. It's very, very, very different than going and watching a practice. There's no question about that. But I do think you can find things that have value.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially, I like what you said about, how there are some question marks in terms of even like, who's the starting five is going to be, right? You can look at it and you say, we got 2.5 guys, I guess you could probably say, that are going to be solid starters in Flory and Darren. And then, you can kind of think about, all right, well, yeah, you got Jaden Dawson and Melvin Council, those kind of guys, but there's still some rotational pieces. So these guys want to show out everything that they have. One more quick question before I get you out of here, Matt. I want to talk about KU women's basketball as Samaya Nichols. She was named to the unanimous All Big 12 preseason team. KU picked 6th. I think it's a little low just because of this monster freshman class, which I think is the biggest story of this KU women's basketball program. Give us a preview of what we should be able to see this season.
Yeah, man, I think you might be right. It might be a little low, and I had the same thought, 6th, but I also thought it was perfect.
Sure.
I think that's where they want to be, because there's still the element of, okay, there's some respect there. And obviously everyone respects Samaya. She's ridiculous. And there's some other people who are returning too that had really good years last year. Elle Evans was another one. They're really good, man. It's even beyond just the freshmen. But yeah, so you've got the respect that comes with, okay, top third of the conference or whatever it is. But you also say, yeah, but we don't really think you're that good. And now they can take that and use that as fuel, and it can drive them and play in their heads and all that. And so I'm sure the coaches love that. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the coaches love that. I'm sure the players love that. What I've found over the last few years especially is they don't care. They really don't. I mean, you might use it for one day or one pregame speech or 1 minute, but at the end of the day, their goal is to go out there and show what they are. And if you pick them 6th, if you pick them 2nd, if you pick them 16th, I don't think they care. I think they just want to play and they want to win, and they want to let it sort of fall where it falls from there. And that's truly almost every team. I mean, I've talked to KU football players in the past couple of years about what does it mean to be ranked? Well, that's great, but I'd rather be ranked higher. That's what we're chasing. We're going for more, and so it's not that it doesn't mean something. It's just that, it means more, I think, to people on the outside, fans especially, and all that. So, but I thought 6th was perfect. It's a perfect spot where they can fly under the radar a little bit, but they also, they've also let it be known that they're one of the best teams in this conference, and it won't take much for them to move up 2, 3, 4 spots. Having said that, they've got a really talented roster. They've got a really, really young group that could be as good as any group in the Big 12. And we just have to see how quickly that group is ready, right? Whether you're talking about Jalea or Keeley Parks or Libby Fandel or whoever it is, that trio especially. But there's newcomers. Lily Meister's another one that I think is flying under the radar. She's a rotational piece with experience who can kind of play everywhere. And you throw that with the group that was there last year. All of a sudden, you go from a team in 2024 that had almost zero depth to a team that, without knowing the personnel of every roster in this conference, I would say KU has at least top 2 or 3 depth in the entire Big 12. It's really, really good, especially if those other girls that we just mentioned are ready as freshmen, and there's no reason to think they won't be. They're highly recruited, highly touted, highly talented players that, one, can play anywhere with anybody, but 2, they have the unbelievable advantage of having Samaya Nichols on their team.
Yeah.
Because Samaya is going to take all the attention. She's going to take all the pressure from the opponents. Every team they play is going to start their scouting report with Samaya. And the rest of these girls can absolutely just play off of that. And the coolest thing about Samaya is she'll say, bring it on. Put it all right here. I'll take it on my shoulders. And if I got to go score 30, I'll go score 30. Very rarely does that have to happen, but she'll do it. And if she could score 6 or 8 and just have 15 assists and get everybody else going, she loves doing that too. So it's a perfect situation for those young girls to be in. And I think this is as excited as I've been about KU women's basketball probably forever. I mean, that group a few years ago with Holly Kerskeeter and Zakaya and Twin. Why am I not remembering their names other than their nicknames? Sorry, but you know who I'm talking about. That was one of the best trios in KU women's basketball history, and they made the tournament and they made some noise, and that was a lot of fun. When they left, I was like, I don't know, it might be over. That was kind of a fun run. It's not only not over, they are so fastly on their way to even exceeding what that group did with this group and with the recruiting that's coming behind it too. So KU women's basketball in a lot of ways, man, it took Brandon Schneider a long time to get it going, and he'd be the first to tell you that, but it's going, and I think they're in a great position, and people should be excited, man. I mean, most years it's go see the men at late night, be excited about that, whoever the one and done is or the All-American or whatever. But man, pay attention to the women this year. They are going to be fun to watch, and you will not be sorry that you gave them the time, because you'll want to go watch them play when the games roll around too. I promise you that. This is an incredibly talented and competitive and tough group of girls.
Yeah, and you can see them on late night, October 17th, coming up next week. Matt, appreciate you coming on the show, man. You got any special projects you're working on right now? Anything you want to preview?
I did do an interview this week, a couple actually. I talked with Ryan Swanson of the volleyball team. Man, she committed to Kansas when she was 15 from just down the road in McPherson.
Yeah.
I heard about her potential, how good she could be. And then she spent her first 3 years at KU not playing, really, and really frustrated by it and hanging in there. And so she's playing this year, and she's a senior, and she's playing well, and she brings a lot of things to the table. So I finally got a chance to talk with her about her journey, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great conversation, and she didn't hold anything back either. I mean, she's thrilled to be playing, but she was very real about how not thrilled to be not playing she was, right? So that's one that I'm working on, and then also, of course, football and basketball coverage will be nonstop. But the other one that's pretty big is the KU women's golfer from Sweden, Ebba.
Yeah.
She shot a 63 at their home tournament last week, 8 birdies, no bogeys, and she finished her first round with 5 consecutive birdies.
Man.
Like, dude, I don't care who you are or what level you're playing at or what tees you're playing or any of that. If you do that, you're incredible at the game of golf. And
I broke 90 the other day, and I wouldn't shut up about it. So
see, I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. So you need, if you have a round like that, you need to be talked about and interviewed, and you need to tell your story, because even if you, Daniel Courtwright, can read one thing in that story that helps you break 90 the next time, maybe she gives you a tip. I don't know what it'll be yet, but those types of moments are too good, man. That's an unbelievable thing. Lindsay Cool, the golf coach, said it's one of the best rounds she's ever witnessed, right? And she's been doing it a long time. So really cool stuff there. I mean, to just go casually shoot a 63 with 8 birdies, 5 in a row to close the round. I mean, I'm sure she won't even be that impressed by it. She's probably like, I just hit the ball pretty well. Well, no, you did better than that. So those stories are always fun, man. And they won their home tournament for the second year in a row, and they've really got it rolling over there again as well. So those are a couple immediately, but obviously be paying real close attention on Saturday night, 6:30 in Lubbock, to see, if these guys show up. They don't have to win. I don't think they have to win to catch people's eye. They just have to play well and do more or less what they did at Mizzou. Be in that game, make it felt, make it known that you were competitive and you belonged on that field. And I don't see any reason they won't do that, regardless of what the line is and regardless of where Tech's ranked and how talented they are. So as long as they can do that, win or lose, it should have an opportunity to provide them a little bit more momentum Then they got the bye week, and then they got K-State. And I think heading into K-State would be a good first time for me to come sit on that couch down there and talk with you guys about that, because it hasn't worked with my schedule. And I appreciate you fitting me in on Zoom today. It just has been brutal trying to get me in. You've tried every week, and I appreciate it. So
You're one of our favorites, so yeah, we had to get you on.
Well, thank you, man. And let's make sure we do that for the K-State week, because that is coming fast, and it's going to be in that new stadium, and what's on the line there. It could be a monster night for Kansas. But first things first, we'll get to that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Tait, R1S1 Sports. Appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great, man. Thanks, Dana.
Awesome. That was Matt Tait, R1S1 Sports. More Rock Chalk Sports coming up after this on KansasNation.com.
This is Daniel Courtwright, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
John Kellerman and Dan Courtwright back for Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Gonna get into our sports stock market, Dan. Ding, 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 ding. Need to get you an actual bell, I think.
I know, we need to.
We got to do that at some point. But hey, we're gonna keep you up to date on here and just ding, ding, ding. Perfect.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, just like a giant one and just smack it.
I think so.
I like that.
There's one. There's a big one in Philadelphia. I know.
There is. Yeah, it's got a crack in it though. We don't want that one.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Dumb.
This is usually where you say,
Speaking of Philadelphia,
look at that.
Stocks down on the city of Philadelphia. I love that. Sean, I'll let you kind of take this, but just, the city of Philadelphia had a bad day yesterday. I mean, this is one of the worst sports days for the city of Philadelphia, I think, in a long time. We'll start off over on the West Coast.
Yeah,
because it was the Dodgers, Phillies.
I hate to use this word. I try to not use it very often, but sometimes you just have to do it. Poopy. It's a poopy day. It was a poopy
you like
day
using that word. I hear you say that word like 5 times a day.
That's true.
You do not hate using that word. You love using that word.
It was poopy. Okay, there's your 5. Not a good end to the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. In fact, terrible.
I would say one of the worst I've ever seen.
Extra innings, Game 4 of the NLDS. If the Phillies beat the Dodgers, they go to Game 5 in the city of brotherly love. Bases loaded. Extra innings. Dodgers, of course, get to bat last because they're the home team. 2 outs. Andy Pages up to bat. He hits a little nubber to the pitcher. Now, Dan, you play slow pitch softball.
Yeah, I do.
There's a force at any base. With 2 outs, it does not matter what base you throw to as long as you beat the runner.
Sure.
So, with that being said, you want to throw to the base that you're most likely to connect with the person receiving the catch before the runner gets to the base.
So are you asking me what I would do in the situation?
So the pitcher, Orion Kirkering, as you'll see here, was directed by his catcher, JT Realmuto, who's been the Phillies catcher for a long time, to throw the ball to first base.
Yeah, he literally was like standing and pointing.
This is not a situation where there's 1 out and a guy on third and you have to throw it home because that's the winning run. Not that situation. There's a force at any base. There's 2 outs. Any base, as long as you beat the runner running to it, you get out of the inning.
Yeah.
Kirkering panicked.
But so he's right there. I mean, he's about this far away from the catcher. You'd think that's an easy throw.
I know. So they showed us some numbers after the fact. But what happened was Kirkering panicked. The season's on the line. He knows it. And he throws an absolute dart, off target, mind you.
Yes.
Realmuto, who again is standing pointing to first base, saying, throw to first, you've got plenty of time.
He wasn't even ready for the ball.
Has to lunge after the ball. It wasn't close because the runner coming down from third, as you do on contact on a ball hit on the ground, always, especially with 2 outs, though. Anytime there's contact, you're running. Haesung Kim was running down from third. We find out later, of course, he was safe. The ball wasn't close. Kirkering panicked. The Phillies lost. Find out later that Kim was 30 feet from home, whereas the batter, Andy Pages, 55 feet from first base. Kirkering, all he had to do was collect himself. Granted, he's panicked, and that's the one thing pitchers don't think about in that situation. They don't think about having to field. I get it. They're worried about getting the batter. You can't walk a guy. You can't hit a guy by pitch. Your season's over if you do that.
Sure.
You got to be ready for the ball, though, and if he would have just collected himself, even though he didn't field it cleanly, he had all kinds of time to throw to first base, which in this scenario was a valid option.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Rob Thompson, by the way, former KU legend. He consoled Kirkering afterwards and gave him a big hug and didn't, he wasn't yelling at him or anything. Obviously, season's over, so a show of true leadership, I think, there. But what a dunderheaded move.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's a bummer because
that's horrible.
Again, he's going to remember that. Bottom line is, even if he made the right throw and they were able to get the runner at first, Philly still hadn't won the game.
Yeah, I mean, it would have gone to 12.
It would have gone to 12 and, all that. But yeah, they had him. And again, Real Muto, he's not even close to the. I mean, he did what every catcher's supposed to do.
Straight up and pointing to first.
Did what every catcher was supposed to do, which is don't even make yourself an option.
Yeah.
He stood himself up and he said, "Hey, go over here. I'm not holding my glove out for you." And again, the panic set in. He just decided when he was going to pick up the ball, I'm going to chuck it.
My goodness.
But,
I've seen you make a couple of those throws in slow pitch softball, too.
Believe me, it happens occasionally. The Eagles, though, also scuffling. Great read on Giants. Cam Scadaboo has arrived.
Cam Scadaboo has arrived. Yes, the New York Football Giants defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 34-17, led by two rookies. Jackson Dart, 17 of 25, 195 yards, a touchdown. Cam Scadaboo, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Almost got to triple digits, got 98 yards. That would have been cool if he would have gotten to triple digits. But Cam Scadaboo, he looks awesome. My goodness, he looks great. By the way, Jackson Dart also had a rushing touchdown as well in this game. The story here is obviously Eagles, and I'll use your favorite word here, poopy. Their defense has been bad. Their offense has been even worse. The tush push. And I feel like we talk about this a lot, and all of the national media talks about this a lot. Something's got to happen, right? They are jumping off sides every single time. You got a problem with it, then you need to stop it. Okay, but they're jumping off sides. You need to do something about the jumping off sides aspect of it. I think they need to go to the booth every time they do it just to make sure that those guys aren't jumping off sides. They jump off sides every time. They're in it 4 times in a row.
Can you imagine if it were the Chiefs?
What? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. They would change a whole rule and say, no, nobody can do the tush push anymore except for Josh Allen.
Here's another new overtime rule for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. That was ridiculous. But yeah, tough night to be an Eagles fan. I didn't hear of anything bad that came out of the city of Philadelphia last night in the news. I'm not fully entrenched, but I hope that everybody behaved themselves.
Right, they did.
Tough night.
I will say this. So, stock's down on Russ Wilson. Probably the only down stock in the New York Football Giants locker room because Jackson Dart, he got hit, had to go out, get checked out by the doctors. So, Danger Russ Wilson had to come in for one play. That was it. Came in for one play, short-armed a guy by 10 yards. I mean, it was one of the worst throws I've ever seen. Got booed off the field.
Oh.
And Brian Daboll was yelling at the team doctor saying, "Get Jackson Dart out here now."
And this was the same guy that chose Russell Wilson as his starting quarterback. Meanwhile, Jameis Winston is just, what's he doing? Is he just living life, just blessed to play this beautiful game?
Yeah, just eating W's at home.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just hanging out, just having a great old time, grand old time. He's got his Heisman, he's fine. But yeah, stock's down on Danger Russ. They booed him off the field after one play.
Hey, that paycheck's gonna cash the same. I'll tell you that much.
Here's the thing: do you this has got to be it, right?
Would you care?
There's no way Russ plays another year.
Would you care about getting booed if
I'm a multimillionaire? No.
That direct deposit.
If I'm married to Ciara, no.
Yeah, you're good. He's gonna be fine.
But also, it's like, dude, spend time with your family. Hang him up, man. You're only putting a stain because if he would have hung him up, yeah, I'll even say this after Denver, or even after.
That's right.
After the Steelers, if he would have hung him up before the Steelers, before he went to the Steelers, it still would have been all right, well, Russ was pretty good back in his prime. He is only hurting his legacy, and this is getting ugly. It really is. He's not. I mean, the way that I'm going to remember Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback at the end. He was genuinely awful.
Won a Super Bowl,
Never had a
happens
MVP
to everybody.
vote.
Father Time gets us all.
Yes.
Anyway, good for the Giants, though. They got an exciting future.
Stock's up on the Fashion Police. So I told you this. So the Patriots and the New Orleans Saints, they're playing this weekend. And Patriots uniform tracker on Twitter, they always post what the Patriots are going to be wearing. The Patriots apparently are wearing white jerseys with white pants with a red and blue stripe down the side and white socks. They also tweeted out the New Orleans Saints jerseys, and we have a visual for that as well. They didn't put pants or socks on the New Orleans Saints. So everybody's like, "Oh, well, what's going on here?" The New Orleans,
a different type of a different type of matchup.
Very funny. The actual New Orleans Saints Twitter account had to come out and said, "Confirming, we will be wearing pants and socks
just to make sure."
Just want to clear the air. But I mean, talk about a hell of a distraction, right? I mean,
my gosh!
If, like, you got nothing else to lose if you're the Saints.
Talk about an injury. Let's just talk about that.
Sure.
Talk
Injuries,
about an injury or two.
Injuries could be bad. I'll say that. You don't have the padding.
You don't have any padding.
I think, if
there's an element of freedom, I think, but it would not be fun.
Freedom is, that's true. You play loose, play free.
Definitely you could play loose.
Yeah. I mean,
you could play loose. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, play loose. Play loose.
Hey, there are pants that are going to be worn in the Bayou.
They will be wearing pants. I just want everybody to understand that.
Stocks up on road trips. Check this out. Big Ten football, a top 10 matchup that we're going to get to in game picks, Dan. But how about this? Indiana +7. They are ranked number 7 at number 3 Oregon. If you want to go to the game from Bloomington, hop in the car. It's going to take you either, you could go the northern route, which would be 1 day and 11 hours.
Oh, no.
Or you could go the southern route, which would be 1 day and 9 hours. So a road trip from Bloomington to Eugene, that's Big Ten football at its best. I know you love geography for the insane.
I hate that. I absolutely. Look, and that's not even the worst one. Like, think about.
Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers and like UCLA. Like women's softball playing on like a Wednesday night.
So you don't like road trips. You got a problem with that?
No, road trips are fine. But if you have to do a road trip through like North Dakota, and then Montana, and then Idaho to go all the way over to Eugene, it's not exactly the road trip you want to take, I would say. It's not exactly the most scenic.
You can save 2 hours. You can save 2 hours by taking the southern route.
Okay.
A day and 9 hours. Or you could walk. It would take you 33 days.
So
that's a month well spent.
If you haven't started walking now, you better start running.
You know what's the most beautiful thing about that stat? I can't believe we forgot to say this. As of Wednesday of this week, we are in the midst of 49 consecutive days of football. So you could walk, if you were an Indiana fan, to Eugene to watch this game. Granted, you'll miss the actual game, but football will still be on 33 days from now. Stocks up on road trips.
Yeah, just have your phone while you're walking there.
Yeah, Rutgers to UCLA is great.
Man,
I love that.
Don't get me started. You're going to get me all worked up. Stocks up on Stolen Valor. Big dumper. Apparently, he doesn't like the one coolest nickname. Apparently, he had to go with another thing called Dump-a-Squatch.
Dump-a-Squatch.
Dump-a-Squatch. An all-star caliber season. This is per the MLB. It says an all-star caliber season calls for an all-star caliber
Not cool.
mascot. They said introducing the Dump-a-Squatch. Cal Raleigh's official postseason mascot. Do they know that there's already a Pasquatch in the MLB?
This is not okay.
Vinny Pasquantino tweeted out just a screenshot of Adam Schefter's tweet. Just said assault. Stolen Valor. There's already a Pasquatch. There's already someone with Squatch as a nickname. You have Big Dumper.
Just for that?
I'll say Big Dumper's the coolest nickname in the MLB right now, and you're not happy with it? You got to go and take Vinny Pasquantino's? That's all we have. We didn't make the postseason. We have Bobby Witt Jr. and a fun nickname for a fun first baseman.
Just for that, I'm hoping Tarek Skubal shoves tonight, and Detroit wins Game 5 in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, that's a real bummer. Did you see, though, in Detroit when Cal hit his first big league homer? There was a Mariners fan wearing, or not his first postseason homer. There was a Mariners fan wearing a shirt, homemade custom shirt that said "Dump 61 here," and he caught it.
That's awesome.
In Detroit, and then he took the shirt off after he caught it.
Yeah,
and had another shirt that said "Dump 62 here."
Oh,
is that incredible?
Awesome.
I know.
Love that. I love that.
That's so good.
Good for him. Hey, stocks up on Showbiz. This is fun. So apparently, North Carolina and Bill Belichick, they were doing a documentary on Hulu about the season. Well, as we all know, Bill Belichick and North Carolina season hasn't exactly gone up to par. I'll even say up to documentary standards, which granted, I guess they did do the Miles to Go, and that's still got a documentary about it. So it wasn't as bad as that, but they decided to cancel the entire documentary. They said, we're not going to follow you guys around any longer.
We
How
can't
much
take anymore.
how much do you think Jordan played in this?
It could play a part. Jordan, it could play a part. This is sad for the program. What was actually sad was the Panthers podcast calling it quits because they were so bad. It's
That's
different.
true.
The Meow Mix.
Yeah, that's true. That's like fans giving up on you. But I will say this. So the UNC Tar Heels, and we have a visual of this too, they had to come out with a statement because North Carolina has been
joint
so
statement.
horribly bad.
Bubba
And
Cunningham
you can
still
tell-
thinks UNC was deserving the NCAA tournament last year.
You can tell, by the way, that this was written from the heart, and this is so heartfelt. Bill Belichick, from his heart, said, I'm fully committed to the UNC program we're building here.
That sounds like Bill Belichick.
Doesn't it? I'm fully committed to the UNC football and the program we're building here. And then North Carolina said, Coach, we hear you. Speaking from your heart, we'll speak from our heart now. And they said, Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics from the university.
I love that you're putting the voice to this.
Thank you.
That's what that is how it sounded though. Yeah.
Two of the most blatant,
What a disaster since that opening drive touchdown against TCU.
how much truth is behind these?
I mean,
Zero, right?
it's the same, what do you call it? Whenever
Is Bill Belichick fully committed?
a GM
Probably,
or whoever
yeah.
says, "Oh yeah, the coach is our guy,"
Sure,
and then
they
they
have to say
they
it.
get fired.
They have to say it.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick has to say he's fully committed. He's not. It's very clear. Bubba Cunningham, director of athletics, which, by the way, NCAA tournament. You already said that, but
I did.
I mean, there's no he has to hate Bill Belichick at this point, right?
Got time for a couple more here. A really sad one actually, as stock is up on Legends. Sister Jean,
I know.
March Madness legend.
106 years young, died over. I believe it was last night. So she was a legend, man. She was
a
awesome.
legend.
And she was
Loyola
always
Chicago.
high fiving the guys, and they actually. Loyola last year, I think, all the guys came off the court and nobody high-fived her, and they came out with another video of all of them high-fiving her. And she's been the biggest supporter of Loyola Chicago, and I mean, just shout out to Sister Jean.
We should ask Jaden Dawson.
We should.
Memories of Sister Jean.
That's right.
Yeah,
we
Loyola
should. We need to
Chicago
ask Jaden
transfer.
Dawson about that. A couple more. Stocks up on sports books. This is interesting. We might go farther in depth on this next week. But according to On3 Sports, the NCAA has approved a rule allowing college athletes and staff to bet on professional sports. Apparently, this new rule, it had to be approved by all three divisions of NCAA, and it did. And now college athletes, they're ready to bet.
I
They're ready
didn't even know it wasn't allowed.
You didn't know it was
I literally didn't.
I knew this because I played college athletics, and we had to go through like a thing every year at the beginning where
Where
they're
you
like,
couldn't bet on pro sports?
Yeah, basically it's like any NCAA affiliated sport, which is like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball. I mean, hell, even like
there's a lot more.
esports. There's a lot more you can't bet on. So like the only things you could bet on is like horse racing, right? And like NASCAR. That's it. They were allowed to do that, but you couldn't bet on any NCAA affiliated sports at any level. But now they can gamble on professional sports. I don't know how I feel about this. I haven't developed a thought on it yet. Let me sit on the weekend. We might talk about it a little bit more on Monday. But interesting stuff in the news. I have this one: stocks down on originality. I have a visual for this. Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Unbeveled. They're changing their logo, and I hate it.
You don't. Oh, you like the 3D one?
I like the 3D one.
I kind of
with it.
I gotta say, I kind of like it.
It's boring.
I kind of like the
Absolutely
but
boring.
I like the white trim.
So if you the
this
visuals
one-
up,
the
so the
new
one
one-
on the left is the old one.
The
Obviously,
current one seems dated. It seems dated. It does. It seems
the one that they're changing to seems dated from like the 1960s.
Yeah, but it seems dated in like a crisp way. The 3D one that they have right now seems like 2009 Pat Knight Texas Tech.
I understand if you're going for like a throwback look that you do like once a year, but they're completely rebranding, completely changing their logo in 2026. That's unreal to me. That's insane. I don't know.
God, I absolutely nailed that. He was the head coach from 2008 to 2011.
Good for you.
Pat Knight. How about that? Anything else, Dan?
Last one here. Stocks up on trickery. LeBron James, he made a big decision this week.
Oh,
a
my God,
huge
yeah.
decision. The whole world was on the edge of their seat waiting for the decision by LeBron James. He's partnering with Hennessy again.
Hey, he got the poll. He got the poll. It was an ad.
I hated
no
that.
retirement yet for the
I
king.
knew it was going to be an ad too. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's retiring. Oh, he's going back to Cleveland. Oh, he's." It's like, no, he's
going back to Cleveland.
No, it's an ad. It was dumb. By the way, there's one guy, Lakers fan. He bought a bunch of He bought some tickets for Lakers games to try to resell them because he thought that LeBron was going to be retiring. And now he's suing LeBron for like $800 because he bought those tickets under the guise of, oh, hey, I thought LeBron was retiring. LeBron, you tricked me.
You can sue anybody for anything, huh?
$800 to LeBron is nothing.
Hey, that's our sports stock market for today. After this, going to update you on some news for KU basketball and KU football on Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for watching KansasNation.com.
Hey, this is Cole Ballard, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports. KU football getting some exciting news that's not related to this season, but more reinforcements coming roster-wise.
Yeah, the class of 26 is really shaping up. Obviously, it's already star-studded with a lot of Kansas talent. KD Jones, a 3-star running back out of Oklahoma, has decided to flip his commitment from Oklahoma State to the University of Kansas after Mike Gundy has been kicked to the curb. Now he's coming to Kansas.
At the ripe age
of 40. He's a man. He's 40. But yeah, this is exciting news. He's number 21 ranked running back in the nation in the class of 26, number 6 ranked senior in Oklahoma. Really exciting stuff, and just some more reinforcements for that class of 26, man. He had a lot of offers too. 25 of them were Power 4, excuse me. Alabama, Oregon, Texas A&M. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He had an OU offer, wanted to go to Oak State, wanted to stay close to home. But now that Mike Gundy is going to be gone from Oak State, decided to reopen up his commitment, or reopen up his recruitment, and eventually landed with Kansas. So this is big news for Jonathan Wallace and company.
According to 24/7 Sports, this is now 20 hard commits, Dan, for the class of 2026.
Huge.
We've documented this a lot throughout the offseason on our show about the in-house commits for KU football, meaning in the state of Kansas. So many good ones, of course, headlined by guys like J.J. Dunnigan, Josh Galbraith here in Lawrence as well. But that's the difference, right? It's not a one-off year of Kansas football. It hasn't been the years that we've had success under Coach Leipold. It's been, hey, here are the guys that are helping us this year. Here are the guys that are going to help us the next year or two. Here are the guys who are going to help us 3 or 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
Right? How often do we talk about this year's KU football team and we say, oh my God, Jalen Todd's a sophomore, and Taylor Davis is a sophomore, and Austin Alexander's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Blake Harrell's a redshirt sophomore. Like, we have so many guys, and those are only on the defensive side.
Right.
So many guys on the offensive side. Oh my God, we got Harry Stewart and Johnny Thompson. Those are going to be guys who are going to be impactful. And then you look past that as those guys come to the front, to the top of the depth chart. You look at these guys coming in. Yeah, it takes a couple years before fans really get to know these names, but these are the guys, and they're going to make an impact.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome, right? Because you look at this and you go, oh, wow, like the running back room is just continuing to add to their depth, right? You're going to be losing Highshaw and Williams, right? But all of a sudden, you're looking at it, you go, man, you got Harry Stewart, Johnny Thompson, you got the Terminator, you got KD Jones right behind him as a freshman to be able to learn from those program guys. So this is an absolutely huge get for the class of 26. Class of 26 for KU. Shaping up to be one of the best, if not the best, in at least the 24/7 Rivals era.
And again, so many kids from the state of Kansas. Great stuff. KU basketball officially gets underway with Late Night in the Fog a week from today. 6:30 p.m. inside Allen Fieldhouse. Gates are going to open at 5. Fans are going to enjoy all sorts of activities in the concourse. They got a kids zone. They got a basketball equipment display. The women's team is going to scrimmage first. After that, there's going to be entertainers, videos, dancers, Rock Chalk Spirit Squad, plus favorite half-court shot. 2 individuals are going to have a chance to win $10,000 from head coach Bill Self. After that, the men's team will take the court for a scrimmage as well. Exciting stuff, and we're going to have coverage of that, and of course, extended coverage of all things KU men's and women's basketball here on Rock Chalk Sports on KansasNation.com. After this, though, Week 7 of college football. Dan Courtwright will give his game picks, which sure seem to hit every single time. That's next here on KansasNation.com.
This is Dale Highshaw, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright, back in our Kansas Nation studios here on Mass Street, state-of-the-art studios. Gotta take a peek in when you're walking down Mass Street. We're so happy to be here. And also, find us on KansasNation.com.
Yeah.
Also, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We've got some other shows as well, Dan, that we're really excited about. You probably heard about a couple of them, but Dan, tell everybody about the other shows you can check out. KansasNation.com.
Yeah, KansasNation.com. Also, like he said, everywhere we got them. YouTube, Spotify, Haney and the Hawks. Todd Reesing's episode is up right now. Also, Jared Casey's going to be coming out over this next weekend, so a lot of fun. Friend of the show, Jared Casey. Legends of Kansas with B-Mac and Chris Harris Jr. Just shout out to those guys. I mean, talk about legends of Kansas, right? It's an aptly named show. A lot more to come as well. So check out all of the great stuff on KansasNation.com, including some writings from our own journalist, Sean Kellerman. Sean has been moonlighting as a writer, and his articles are great stuff, by the way. So be sure to check those out at KansasNation.com. There's no paywall or anything. Check it out. Also, shout out to Miles Schneider and Company.
Absolutely.
Miles Schneider,
great, great partners over there at Crown Automotive. Yeah, check everything out. We're going to have a great Girly Mick Schaefer show as well. The Jayhawker podcast also on KansasNation.com. So really excited about this new entity. Hey, college football game picks.
Yes.
Daniel, let's get into this, and let's start in Columbia.
Ball State. Oh.
In Columbia. Number 8, Alabama at number 14, Mizzou. Tied on the road are 3-point favorites, over under 51.5.
So the over-under is 51.5. I think I like the under here just because I don't think there's going to be a lot of offensive firepower. I think Alabama's going to be able to contain Bo Prabula. Give me the under 51.5. Give me Alabama to win by over 3 at -112.
Hey, if you're going to fade Mizzou, then, you know,
Yeah.
people will say you're a Jayhawk through and through. Number 1, Ohio State, -14.5 at number 17, Illinois. Big noon kickoff in Champaign, over under 50.5.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois wet the bed a couple weeks ago against Indiana. Maybe Indiana's not, not on fraud watch. I said they were on fraud watch. They're actually the real deal. I like Illinois, but man, Ohio State's just so good. 14.5 is a big line. Give me Illinois to cover the 14.5. Ohio State still wins this one handily because it's in Champaign.
The Red River Showdown, I think they're calling it. Number 6, Oklahoma, -1.5 at Texas, over under 44.5.
Yeah, I like OU here. I think Arch Manning is not good. I think that it's coming out. I don't think he's... Now, granted, it's hard because, with a guy who had that much potential and that much talent, unless you play like Tim Tebow, people are going to call you a bust or something along those lines. I don't think he's that, but also John Mateer is really good. Give me OU in this one. Red River rivalry is always so much fun. I like the over in this game, 44.5.
Yeah, we'll see if Mateer plays. It sounds like there's a possibility that may happen in Austin. Number 7, Indiana. They are +7 at number 3, Oregon, over under 53.5.
Yeah, man, I like Indy. Is it crazy that I like Indiana in this one? So Penn State,
you've been calling them frauds all year, but I guess.
But I think after the Illinois game, I've switched my perspective of them. Also, Oregon, they went to overtime against Penn State, and then Penn State wound up losing to the worst team in the Big Ten in UCLA. So does that make that win worse for Oregon?
Is UCLA worse than like Rutgers and Northwestern?
I think UCLA is horrible. I mean, they're horrible. They fired their coach.
Hey, just a question. Give
me Indiana to cover, but Oregon wins.
Do you hate the state of Indiana because the two teams that you always say are on fraud watch are the Hoosiers and the Colts?
Yes.
So you're always talking about, okay, you're taking Indiana to cover here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 15, Michigan. They are dogs at the Rose Bowl against USC. Wolverines are +2.5, over under 56.5.
Yeah, this game is crazy to me. I like Michigan here. I understand it's at USC. USC's, a pretty good program. They're not ranked. I like Michigan. I think Michigan pulls this one out on the road. It's going to be a tough battle, but I think Michigan wins this one by... I think Michigan money line feels right to me, +110.
To the Big 12, Oklahoma State getting 14.5 at home against Houston, over under 48.5.
Yeah, this game's going to be weird. Cincinnati's just so good right now. They're
Oklahoma State hosting Houston. Oklahoma State +14.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said UCF Cincinnati.
No, Oklahoma State first,
the
and then we'll do UCF. You're good.
Oklahoma State, Houston. Give me Oklahoma State to cover the +14.5. That's a big line. I think Doug Meacham. I think he does a good job.
All right, fair enough. Now let's go to the UCF game. They are on the road at Cincinnati. Knights are plus 10.5, over under 54.5.
Yeah, I like Cincinnati in this one, right? I mean, they're playing their best ball right now. I think UCF.
But that's why you have to give the 10.5. You still feel okay doing that?
Yeah, I still feel okay with that. Is Taven Jackson going to be back for this game? I don't know. Also, they have Cam Fancher, so it's not a big deal. Give me Cincinnati in this game.
All right, we got to go kind of quick here. TCU minus 1.5 at K-State, over under 55.5.
Give me TCU here. K-State's dumpster fire. They still are a dumpster fire. I like TCU in this game. Josh Hoover, good quarterback.
I assume you're going money line, not minus 1.5. Number
Money line.
22, Iowa State at Colorado. Clones are only minus 2.5, over under 51.5.
Yeah, that's a little surprising to me. I like Iowa State in this game a lot, right? I mean, also the public does too, so minus 115. Iowa State's going to wipe the floor with Colorado.
Does BYU take their first loss? The number 18 ranked Cougars are minus 1.5 at Arizona.
I like Arizona in this one at plus 100 for the money line. I believe I'm doing that right.
No.
I'm not doing that right.
No.
Give me Arizona to cover.
The plus one. Number 21, Arizona State is plus 8.5 at Utah, over under 44.5.
Yeah, I like Utah in this game, man. Isn't that crazy? Look, Arizona State, I understand it, but I just like Utah. It's at Utah. Sam Levitt's dinged up. I like them.
Last one, KU plus 14 at number 9, Texas Tech, over under 59.5.
The Dan Courtwright special. KU wins. KU covers. Give me the under in this game. I think it's going to be a defensive chess match.
Hey, stay locked into kansasnation.com for coverage. Game day tomorrow, KU and Texas Tech, 6:30 kick. For Elijah Schmidt running the operations and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you next week on Rock Chalk Sports, kansasnation.com.